G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, these have just dropped. This is the EV300d video, and let me tell you, if you are getting into FPV racing, there has never been a better time in history to get in and have a look at a pair of goggles. We've got budget pairs like Onways, premium pairs up that end like fatshark HDO2s, and this, the new EV300ds. There seems to be a goggle for everybody. They are all feature packed. What we're going to do in this one, we're going to put it on the bench, break it down. This is my first impressions video. We'll show you how this goggle works, some of the special things that this goggle's doing that no one else is really doing, and then we'll go out to the field, fly it around, show you some DVR, and just find out, is this going to be the right goggle for you? How much do you get for, I think it's about 320 bucks. How much goggle do you get, and how does it compare to some of the others? Like you might have some pair of fatshark HDOs, you might have some SkyZone OLEDs, or even some cheaper SkyZones. We'll find out which is going to be the right one for you, and how does it stack up in terms of price versus features. So as a bit of an overview, what this is, it's a dual diversity screen goggle like all of these ones. You put it on, it's got two receiver module bays, which is kind of a bit of an interesting feature, a huge resolution, and it's just doing some things a little bit different in terms of focusing, all that sort of stuff. Coming in at around $320. Now I don't know if it's actually on sale at the moment. I'm going to put the link down below, but something to note as well, this is like a pre-production early model. So I've had mine for a little while, so it didn't come with antennas, it didn't come with a battery case or a battery cable or anything like that, and also it's meant to have some different finishings and that sort of stuff, just meant to be a nicer goggle in the version that people will be able to buy. So this one is like an early factory model that I think they've done some little things differently along the line, and yeah, you should be getting a better one if you pick a pair of these up. But look, I can only test what I've actually got in my hand. So first things first, let's stick it on the scales in the roof cam, and I'm going to say they do feel like a heavy goggle. So if we put it on here, it's coming in at 337 grams versus we might want to have some SkyZones, which I think are pretty light. These are the OLED ones. They're 250, and my fatshark HDOs, they're coming in at 230. So it is significantly heavier when it's on your face versus some of the other ones. And if you want to go versus it against some Onways are like super comfortable because they are so light. I think they're like 180 grams. So off the bat, it is a bit of a heavier, chunkier goggle when it is on your face. Now it comes in a huge carry case. You get, I know you get a little cleaning cloth, and you do get some little extra, I guess, module adapters, because the module bays in this thing are something pretty special, very cool. It's offering quad diversity. And then I didn't get any antennas, I didn't get any battery straps, all that sort of stuff, which may or may not, you'll have to check the description or check the link, may or may not come with the final version. With that out of the way, let's do a deep dive in, have a look at the goggles. You can see it comes with like a tri-band strap, so around the back of your head, over the top, and I must say, it's pretty comfortable. I thought the weight would actually bug me, but it doesn't seem to be too bad whatsoever. Zero light leakage when it's on my face, but then the stars of the show are actually the screens and the focusing, all that sort of stuff. So to quickly get around the goggles, let me get my little special chopstick here. To go around the goggles, we've got our normal barrel plug right here, USB, headphones. We will talk about the focusing in a minute because that's really important. We've got a HDMI card here. We have a AV in, AV out. Also, we have two module bays, which are going to be important to talk about. And on the top, of course, we have a little fan switch and our power switch, our DVR control settings, our changing channel parts, and our modes. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is these focus parts right here. And it is very, I guess, not like Eachine to be an innovating company. They just tend to look at what the market's doing, think, yep, we can do that, and they kind of make a budget version of it. This one, having these little IPD adjustments, and I know these are on the fatshark HD2s, which look, I haven't tested those, I haven't seen those yet, but I know they have this sort of style as well. But Eachine was actually the first company to do this way back, I think, on the EV100ds, where you can also adjust your IPDs so you can get the screens lining up exactly with your eyes, but you can also move the lens by rotating this in and out, so it actually moves further away or closer to your eyes, which is going to solve a lot of problems for people if you need to put diopters or whatever it is in there for you to see. Now, of course, you can still do that. So this is one advantage over the fatsharks at the moment, the HDO top of the line ones. You can still put your own diopters in there if you need to do that as well. But for most people, you can adjust these. You should be more than ready to rock and roll. It goes from -8 to +3. And I was surprised, it actually made a huge difference. I could go from completely blurry all the way into focus back to completely blurry again. So I didn't think that much change in where the screen is would make such a big difference, but it's absolutely astronomical. Now, of course, speaking about the screens themselves, they're using like a bit of a different tech, I believe. It's like kind of, it was hard to find some information on this, but it reminds me of the old Top Sky, I can't remember the name of them, but they were kind of, it might be lcos or something like that, where they use a few tricks and mirrors and things like that to make the image appear on the screen. It's a 42-degree field of view. But what you will notice, which is pretty amazing for this price, is they are, I think they're 12, is it 1260, 1290? The resolution is massive, 1280 by 960. So the resolution on these bad boys is absolutely huge. Same size as the new Fatshark HDOs, which are HDO2s, I should say. It's also worth noting they're not an OLED screen, so don't be buying these expecting you're going to be getting an OLED screen. OLED screens are extremely expensive, like twice the price. So yeah, unless you want to be paying $500, you're probably not going to be getting an OLED screen for the $320 price. Now moving on, we have our little SD card in the middle. Of course, we've got a huge faceplate on here. It's got its fan, its power button, but something I really do like, and this feature, I think SkyZone might have been the first people that started doing this, and this is probably something that all companies should be shipping. You get this little nice foam insert that you can put in the side of your goggles. So if you've got a really wide face and you put it on here, well, now this is going to fit your face a lot better. But if you're getting a bit of light leakage, well, just put these little tabs in and Bob's your uncle, you're off to the races. I hope I've got this up the right way. Let me double check. I am 90% sure that I do. Alright, so we put that little foam pad in there, and that's going to change the profile of the curve. So it's going to sit on your face very nicely. And look, for something so cheap, so simple, all companies, SkyZone's been doing it for a while, all companies should be shipping with those little pieces of foam. I'm going to wish DJI would do that. Like, I'm surprised a huge company like DJI didn't start shipping like that, even though I think they might be doing that. But I digress. We're talking about analog video. Now, the other star of the show right here is, look at this. Check this out. You might notice on the front of the goggles, we'll put it in the roof cam as well, we have two diversity bays. So quadversity, I think, is what you might call it. And yeah, it's kind of meant to offer some extreme performance boosts, but time will tell how that actually goes. Maybe if you put on a whole bunch of patch antennas and you could focus all that sort of stuff around and get some extreme long range, but I'm not sure how it's going to go versus multipathing. Definitely need to do a bit more testing in some different crazy environments. But you can see you've got your little modules in here, you've got your right one, and then you've got your left one. If I can get this lid off. Yeah, so you've got your right and left. But I should also mention that you cannot use, you're not going to be getting quad diversity if you're using some external. So don't expect to put a rapid fire on this side, like an True OWL, RC, or whatever it is on this side, and get the best of both worlds. The quad diversity only works with the module included. But I feel like that is one of the really good things for this product is, for the price, for $320, you're getting two module units as well. So that part is top notch. And I must say, when we'll roll the DVR in a minute, the range I was getting off these, even with some dodgy antennas, was pretty impressive. Now, I mentioned dodgy antennas. I don't know what these will ship with. I had to use some silly RP SMA ones. 95% of my antennas are all SMA, so I really don't like that the modules, you know, RP SMA just drives me up the wall. I wish they were SMA. It would have made my life a lot easier, and I think a lot of people out there, it just seems to be the norm that people go to. Now what I might do a bit of an overview. I have a different picture on the screen right now, but hopefully you're seeing if editing all comes together. I'm going to be filming, putting my GoPro in here. You can see me adjusting it in and out, moving it all around, and the screen in here, it is big, it is bright, but you can see a little part around the outside which looks like, I don't know what you'd actually call it, but it looks like there's a couple of pixels around the outside of the image. So you've got your normal image where the box starts, and then it comes in just ever so slightly by a couple of pixels at the top, the sides, and the bottom. And I guess that's just how this technology works and how it displays. So, you know, that's just something to take note of. You won't even notice it when most people are flying. I guess just as a reviewer, you need to go over these things with a fine-tooth comb, and that's something that I could notice as well. Once I stuck the camera in here and I was really looking at it, I didn't notice it out in the field. And I should say too, the footage on the GoPro looks way more flickery, and that's just because of how it captures it and coming off these screens. It doesn't look like that at all in real life when it's on your eyes. So any of that flicker or the different colors, the colors look totally normal when it's on your face. That's just how it goes with the sensor on the GoPro recording it for some reason. And then the final things I'm going to talk about with the screens is you can change the aspect ratio on here and all the settings. You can play back your DVR, you can watch it. Takes a 32GB card. You know, you can change the, I think it's the brightness, all the sort of standard stuff you would expect on a normal pair of FPV goggles. So overall, they're an absolute feature-packed pair of goggles for $320. They are up against some stiff competition though. They're not offering OLED, so that's really where the Sky Zones and the Fatshark HDO2s are coming in. They're a little bit more pricey than the cheaper Sky Zones or even the Onways, but they're offering some things that those others can't. They've got a high res, all that sort of stuff. But what we should do, let's go out to the field, fly around, I'll show you some footage, and I'm going to do a bit of an overview as I'm talking about them as well, and then we'll come back to the studio, wrap it up, and find out, is this going to be the right pair of goggles for you? Have they done enough? How does it stack up to the others? All that sort of stuff for the $320 mark. So let's do it. Go have some fun in 3, 2, 1. Rightio, out here in the field. Let's do it with the Eachine EV300ds. I'm pretty excited for these bad boys. We'll slap some antennas on, show you some DVR, go for a bit of a buzz, and then tell you my impressions. And then in a follow-up video, we'll meet up with the rest of the crew and see what they think as well. So let's do it. Have some fun with Eachine's new goggles. Find out, are they Fatshark killers, just how well they go, all that sort of stuff. Rightio, let's roll DVR and do it in 3, 2, 1. Boop. Rightio, here we are. We actually had to change locations because someone didn't want us flying around there. I have no idea. They seem to have some issue with drones, even though we're just cruising around. There was no one else in sight. But being, you know, we want to be positive for the hobby, so we just said, okay, no worries. Moved on to a different spot. Took this thing off to a bit more of a remote location, and here you can see this Aussie bush in the background. Definitely one place you don't want to be losing your quads because snakes are out, and it gets very sketchy in Australia. But let's talk about the goggles, focus on them, and you can see the DVR is actually recording quite nicely. I do wish it recorded at 60 frames per second, but I have no issues whatsoever with it. Besides, when you turn it on, you have to put your DVR into, like, you have to first turn your DVR mode on, and then the goggle's like, yep, we're ready for DVR. Then you have to press it again to start recording. So I find that very annoying. I wish you could just push the record button and it would start recording. I don't know why they've got like that extra step in there, so that might catch a few people out. But once you're used to it, I don't think you'd be getting too upset by it. The other parts, we should probably talk about how it feels on your face, and then also for the resolution stuff. For the, I think it's on special at the moment, at this like $270 is absolutely ridiculous, but most of the time you're probably going to find it around the $320 mark. I had zero light leakage. It was surprisingly comfortable on my face, even though it's a little bit heavier than some of the others out there. The resolution I really did like. I thought that it looked fantastic. One part that people will need to take note of is you need to make sure you're looking at these screens. You need to make sure they are focused on your eyes. If your eyes are a little bit misaligned or you have the focus not quite right, then that's when you're going to see like a double image, a little bit of blurring. So that's just with the lcos technology. You really need to be careful of that, because if you're seeing some ghosting or anything like that, make sure that your eyes are lined up correctly, because it only takes it to be a little bit out and then it's going to look a bit weird. But luckily, because you've got those IPD adjustments and also that focal range where you can move it in and out, it doesn't make it too hard to get it spot on right for you. Very, very easy goggle to focus on. I think overall the quad diversity was working quite well. I'm going to have to test it a little bit more in some heavier RF environments, but yeah, for some dodgy antennas on here, and I can't wait to see what antennas this actually ships to with the final production version, it was doing pretty well. And I've got to say, for the, you know, for the budget price, I say budget in terms of, I should say value price, the amount of tech that you're getting in here, the quality of the goggle for the price is an absolute steal. It's very, very competitive. You know, you've got cheap Onways now. Sky Zones have been absolutely killing it. You can see here we go with some range testing. It's definitely going a fair way, and it makes the Fatshark HDO2s, unless you absolutely want OLED, that's really the only reason to be spending up that big buck. So this one, they're considerably cheaper. It comes with 2 receiver modules, and yeah, overall a pretty cool goggle. So I've got to hand it to Eachine. The goggle wars are definitely here, and that's fantastic for us consumers now, because we've got more choice than ever. Rightio, so there it is. There's my first impressions video with the EV300ds. I can't wait to be using these a bit more. Get the other boys, you know, with their impressions, see what they think. But it definitely is hitting a sweet spot in the market, because I've got them lined up right here. Besides the Onways, which would be off this end at like the $180, they are super cheap and crazy good value. But we've got this, which goggle is right for you. It really depends how much you want to spend and how much features you get for that. If you are only looking at OLEDs, you either have, and now these are the only HDOs, they're not the HDO2s, but they're going to be the same price, around the $500 mark. You've got the HDO2s. They don't come with a receiver, and you've got to do a few little things to get that, or antennas. They're going to be probably looking at like $550. If you get rapid fire, I don't know, $700 or something. A very, very expensive pair of goggles, but offering the best features. If you come down the price a little bit, you've still got some amazing screens with the Sky Zone 030s. I love this pair of goggle. They're a 4x3 screen as well, really big field of view. You've got your diversity, everything's built in here, but you cannot put a rapid fire in these ones. But I find the receiver for most people is going to be absolutely more than enough. I love Sky Zones. I prefer using this pair of Sky Zones because this is 16 by 9. And these are just my Sky O2Cs or the O2Xs, because there's sort of two versions of those, but they're coming in at around the $260 mark. So for $260, then also this one at the $320 mark, the Eachine EV300ds, you're getting 2 receiver units. It's got a huge resolution, you know, at 1280 by 960 or whatever it is. You've got different IPDs, and you can also adjust it by sliding it in and out closer to your face. You know, it's offering so much power switch. It's offering so much for that price. So I've got to say, Eachine, you've done a fantastic job with this one. Traditionally, I haven't been the biggest fan of the EV200ds. I got so much slack from people saying, oh, that pair of goggles, you should be giving that more credit, all that sort of stuff. It just didn't really seem to be the case for me. I know when I did my $300 goggle shootout, it was between Onways, the Fatsharks, and these Sky Zones. I didn't feel like the EV200ds really compared too much, and a lot of people got upset that I made that call. But this one, for the $320 mark, it's definitely putting itself in the right market. It knows what it offers. It's offering an awful lot for the price. It just depends. Do you want to go OLED? Do you want to save yourself some money? Or is this kind of it? For 320 bucks, you're getting an awful lot of goggle. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Drop your comments down below. I'll see if I can put some little annotations or check the descriptions and stuff down below, because look, I want to mention too, this is like an early production run. So I might have some things different to what you actually get. I never saw the battery case, which I think can take 18650s, which is great. I never saw the antennas that it came with. If it comes with antennas, there's going to be a few little extra features or extra things that should be in the final finished version. But anyway, other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy goggling, happy flying. That sounded wrong. Happy goggling, happy flying.